Hello everyone! In this episode we will learn how we can create our own custom React hooks. As you can see, I already have our application up and running using npm start, so let's get to it. Let's start by asking ourselves a question. Why should we create custom hooks in the first place? The answer to that is quite simple. Custom hooks allow us to extract logic into reusable functions. If you create meaningful custom hooks, they can make your application very powerful. Custom hooks allow us to share logic that wasn't possible in React components before, and my favorite part about them is the fact that they allow us to really use our imagination. So let's create a custom hook. Let's build a hook called useLocalStorageValue, which will allow us to make use of local storage. First, let's think what the hook arguments and the return value might be. The first argument is going to be the key and it will be required. The second argument is going to be the initial value and it will be used only if the local storage doesn't contain the target key. Inside the hook, we will call the useState hook because we want the hook to work similarly to useState. However, we will have to create a custom function to set our local storage value that will not only set the state but also the actual local storage value. Finally, the return value is going to be an array containing two values. The first one is going to be the state value, because the state value is always up to date, and the second one is going to be the function to change our local storage value. So let's get to it. So right above the app component, I'm going to type const useLocalStorageValue. This is going to equal a function, and the first parameter is going to be the key, and the second one is going to be the initial value. And now, inside, let's first call the useState hook. So const state value set state value. This is going to equal the useState hook. Let's pass in the initialization function, and in here let's get the stored value, and if it doesn't exist, use the initial value. So I'm going to type const stored value, and that's going to equal local storage dot get item key, and we are going to return that stored value, and if it doesn't exist, we are going to return the initial value. Now let's create a function to set our state value while also saving that value to the local storage. So down below, I'm going to type const set storage value. This is going to equal a function. The single parameter is going to be the new value, and in here we are going to call set state value with new value, and we are also going to set it in the local storage. So local storage dot set item key and new value. Finally, let's return the state value along with the newly created function in an array, similarly to the useState hook. So down below, I'm going to type return array, and the first item is going to be state value, and the second one is going to be set storage value. Save, and now, just before we try it out, I want to make two more adjustments. Let's use json.parse and json.stringify so we can store objects, because by default, local storage doesn't allow us to store objects. So when we are setting the local storage value, I am going to add json.stringify like this, right here. So json.stringify new value. And above, when we are getting the storage value, I am going to add json.parse like this. Save, and the second adjustment I want to make is to add function support, because right now, if we passed in a function, similarly to how we do when we use the useState hook, it wouldn't work. In order to do that, I am going to adjust the set storage value function like this. I am going to create a variable using let value to store, and here we are going to check if it is a function. If the new value is a function, so if new value instance of function, in that case value to store is going to equal new value, and we are going to call it with state value. Otherwise, value to store is going to equal new value. Down below, instead of working with new value, we are going to work with value to store. So I'm going to change it here and here. Save, and finally, let's test it out. I'm going to adjust object state down below to use our new useLocalStorage hook instead of the useState hook like this. So instead of useState, it's going to be use local storage, and the first argument has to be the key, so I am going to type the key object state. The second argument is fine, this is the initialization value. Let's save, and now if I refresh and update property 1 and refresh again, we can see it stays updated. This is happening because we are storing the value in the local storage. And that's all for this episode. In the next one, we will learn about the 3 remaining and quite rarely used React hooks, the useImperative hook, the useLayoutEffect hook, and the useDebugValue hook. If you have any suggestions or questions, let me know in the comments and I'll answer every single one of them. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching.